There are moments in life when the whole world asks you to bend, to give in, to adapt, to stop being who you are to fit into what is expected of you. And the pressure can be enormous. It can come from work, from family, from culture, from circumstances, from a system that has no room for your faith. Thousands of years ago, there was a young man who faced exactly that pressure, not in small ways, in big ways, torn from his land, taken to Babylon, the most powerful city in the ancient world, surrounded by everything the world could offer: power, wealth, knowledge, temptation. And in the middle of all of it, Daniel decided not to bend, not out of pride, not out of stubbornness, but because he knew who he was, and he knew who he trusted. And that decision that seemed suicidal made him one of the most influential men of his generation. This is the story of Daniel, and it is also yours. Daniel was barely 15 or 16 years old when they took him to Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar wanted the best of Israel, the youngest, the smartest, the most capable, to educate them in Babylonian culture, to turn them into Babylonians. They changed their names. They changed their food. They changed their language. They changed everything they could change, because the system always tries to change you from the outside to control you from the inside. Daniel 1:7. But there is something no one can change in you if you don't allow it. What you believe, what you value, who you are in the deepest part of yourself. Daniel received a new name, but he kept his soul intact. And that is the hardest thing that exists. Not giving in when everything, absolutely everything, is pressing you to do so. In what areas of your life is the world trying to change you from the outside to control you from the inside? The first thing Daniel did in Babylon was make a quiet decision. He would not eat the king's food, not because it was impossible, not because anyone would find out, but because he wanted to keep something of his identity in a place that wanted to erase it entirely. Daniel 1:8. Daniel resolved in his heart not to defile himself, resolved in his heart, before anyone pressured him, before the moment of testing arrived. The decision was already made. That is the difference between those who give in and those who don't. It is not that those who don't give in are stronger in the moment of pressure. It is that they already made the decision before arriving at that moment. The faith that withstands the storm is not built in the storm. It is built in the quiet days, in the small decisions, in the moments when no one is watching. What decisions are you making today that will prepare you for the moment when everything presses in? Years after Daniel, 3 of his friends faced something even more extreme. King Nebuchadnezzar built a gold statue, 90 feet tall, and ordered everyone to bow down before it. Everyone, no exceptions, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego remained standing. The king called them forward. He gave them a second chance. He told them that if they did not bow, they would be thrown into the blazing furnace. And they said something that has been making people tremble for centuries. Daniel 3:17-18. The God we serve is able to deliver us, but even if he does not, we will not worship your gods. Do you see it? They didn't say, God will deliver us. They said, he is able to deliver us. And even if he doesn't, we still won't bend. That is the most powerful faith that exists. Not the kind that believes because God always works everything out. The kind that believes even when God doesn't work things out the way we expected. The faith that loves God without conditions. That is the kind that moves mountains. They threw them into the furnace, so hot that it killed the soldiers who threw them in. And the king looked inside and saw something he didn't expect. Not 3 men burning, 4 men walking free in the middle of the fire, and the 4th looked like a son of the gods. Daniel 3:25. God didn't deliver them from the fire. He went into the fire with them. That is the promise we sometimes forget. God doesn't always remove the trial, but He never lets you face it alone. The furnace was just as hot. The flames were real. The danger was real. And God was in there. When they came out, they didn't even smell like smoke. What tried to destroy them left no mark at all. Are you in your furnace right now? Look carefully. There is someone else in there with you. Years later, Daniel had become the most important man in the kingdom after the king, and that generated envy. His enemies searched for something to accuse him of. They reviewed his entire life, his finances, his decisions, his past, and they found nothing. Daniel 6:4. They could find no corruption in him because he was trustworthy. So they invented a law specifically designed to trap him. They banned praying to any god other than the king for 30 days. They knew Daniel prayed 3 times a day, facing Jerusalem, with the windows open, and Daniel knew it. And he prayed anyway, not out of defiance, not out of provocation, but because his relationship with God was more important than his safety. How many times have you silenced your faith out of fear of what people would think? How many times did you bend because the cost of not bending seemed too high? Daniel opened the windows and prayed. They arrested him. They judged him. They sentenced him. And the king, who loved Daniel, could do nothing to save him. The law was the law. They threw him into the lion's den and sealed the entrance with a stone. Daniel 6:16. The king said to him before sealing it, "May your God whom you serve continually rescue you." And then the king went to his palace, and could not eat, and could not sleep, and was distressed all night long. Daniel was in the den with the lions, and we know what God did. But what is not said is what Daniel did that night. The Bible doesn't say. But imagine, a man alone in total darkness, surrounded by lions, not knowing if morning would come. And what we know about Daniel, from how he lived his entire life, is that that night he also prayed. Because Daniel's faith did not depend on circumstances. It depended on who he knew. At dawn, the king ran to the den. Before there was enough light, he called out to Daniel in an anguished voice, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God whom you serve continually been able to rescue you from the lions?" Daniel 6:20. And from inside the den came a voice, "May the king live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions." Daniel 6:21-22. Think about that moment. The king who couldn't sleep. The king who ran before dawn. The king who asked with a trembling voice. And Daniel's answer? Calm, serene, without bitterness, without reproach. My God rescued me. Not "I told you so," not "I knew it would happen," just "My God rescued me." The serenity of someone who spent the darkest night of his life and came out with more peace than he went in with. Only one thing gives you that: knowing who you trust. They brought Daniel out of the den, an entire night with the lions, and he had no wound, no mark, no scratch. Daniel 6:23. No wound was found on him because he had trusted in his God. No wound, after an entire night in the lion's den. And the king ordered those who had conspired against Daniel to be thrown into the same den, and the lions overpowered them before they even reached the bottom. The den that was designed to destroy Daniel became the place where God proved that no plan against his own can succeed. What tried to sink you, God turns into testimony. What tried to silence you, God turns into proclamation. What tried to destroy you, God turns into a platform. Daniel came out of the den with more authority than he had before going in, and you will come out too. The story of Daniel is not the story of a spiritual superhero. It is the story of an ordinary man who made extraordinary decisions in ordinary moments. He decided not to defile himself when no one would see. He prayed 3 times a day when it was dangerous to do so. He kept the windows open when the law said to close them. It was not in the great moments that the Daniel who survived the lion's den was forged. It was in the small ones, the invisible ones, the ones no one applauded. And there is something more that Daniel learned that no theology book can teach, that God is more real in the den than in the palace, that faith that has not been tested doesn't know what it is capable of, that the darkest place in your life can become the place where God becomes most visible. Don't seek the den, but if you arrive there, know that you are not alone. If you are in your lion's den today, if someone conspired against you, if injustice won for a moment, if the night closed in and you don't know if there will be a morning, if you are surrounded by what wants to devour you and you see no way out, hear this. The same God who shut the mouths of Daniel's lions can shut the mouth of what wants to destroy you. You don't have to get out of the den on your own strength. You don't have to have perfect faith. You don't have to understand why you are there. You just have to know who you trust, like Daniel. And tomorrow morning, when someone comes looking for you, you will come out without a wound, because what God protects cannot be destroyed. What tried to sink you will become your testimony. Your lion's den will not destroy you. It will transform you, and you will come out with more than you had before you went in.